Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u software demonstration call for December 29th, 2022. We're here on Cathy's website, CathyDSlaght.com, and to access the Zoom call, we're just going to scroll down and we're going to look for this Zoom banner and we're going to click here, and the call will be live when you arrive. If you would like information on the SRC4u software or a free demonstration of the software, where you can demo it right there in the comfort of your home, contact Cathy. Cathy has written books on the SRC4u software, which can be purchased. There is a book honoring Ray Foley called The Wisdom of Words to Ponder, and you can click here and I'll take you over to where you can review the book. To complement the SRC4u software is the shift pin. When you're talking to Cathy about the software, ask her about the shift pin. If you're not ready to purchase the software and you're not ready to demo the software for free, you can join Cathy's SRC4u Daily Energy Clearing Group. And the benefits of joining the group is it's monthly, a monthly fee, and you can cancel at any time. But on Mondays and Thursdays when she demos the software, you can watch her as you'll see the words client group. Your names are not revealed, but as she demos the software, you can watch to see what goes into what she does when you subscribe to her Daily Energy Clearing Group. Cathy's on Twitter. You can follow her Twitter tweets. I'm going to enter the call. It will be live. One moment, please.
Oh, Cathy, I told you last night to recharge here I put in clear all non-beneficial cords to items at my house.
Yes.
It came up for 24 hours.
That is amazing. We're going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
I went into the recharger and I put clear all non-beneficial cords to items in, and I put my address. So maybe I can start getting rid of things faster.
Keep us posted on that.
Yeah.
Keep us posted. We're going to do a little work on clearing cords. Is anybody doing any fooling around with that image cycling stuff?
I've been reading a little bit about it, yeah.
Because I'm still working to memorize all of it.
I did a couple YouTube videos that he
yes.
guessed on. He's gone as far as to put the energy into water and do 4 drops on sublingual. And said he's had good results from athletes and people with various illnesses and such. One of the athletes reported that the athlete was able to bench press 40 additional pounds over his previous limit.
Whoa.
So I don't know how long the time frame was that he was doing the drops. But if he can put it in water, it's like Raymond Grace changes water.
How did he put it in the water? He just visualized it going into the water?
He didn't get into details on the interview, but he said he has sent out a lot of samples to various other researchers. And that was one of the reports that he was getting back. And he also said that several of the doctors in one of his blind studies stole his bottles of water because they saw the results and they wanted it for themselves or family.
Yep.
One thing I would suggest if people want to do this in order to download is that they join the music producers group.
And what music producer is that?
Sounds True is the company.
I kind of think it's pretty neat to start the new year out with a concept like this and see what we can do. I talked with a lady last night with tinnitus, and man, she has done everything. And so she's even going to do it. And what she did, which will be interesting, is she went through the alphabet and she just made her images alphabetical so she can remember them. So now, that's what I like about Bingston is he's a researcher. He puts it to the test to see if it's going to work. And that's what we all have to do with everything we do.
When When you visualize them every day, Cathy, do you have to do them in the same order?
I have been, yeah. And I don't do it at the same time, but I do the same images. And and you can always add an image if you think of it later. But what he says is you're going to get these things. These things are going to manifest. And when they do, then just remove it. And you may have some that you prefer to keep using if you do Armor of God, for example, around yourself and your family. So on and so forth, but material things in particular, people are getting. And so then remove it and add something else. Just make sure you keep it at 20 or more. But he says, do it as often as you're inclined to do it, but particularly if you have a moment of anxiety, then go ahead right into your image cycling. We have to memorize what we're cycling so that we just immediately do it.
Okay.
This time they all came in. I think I have 25.
Oh,
but
wow.
See, you can add healing for people.
Yes, definitely.
And just as your image, you can have them smiling joyfully or jumping around or whatever it is you want.
Right.
And there's so much more. We are a part of the collective. So you can visualize things for the collective because we are impacted. You have to, maybe be discerning, test it with your own intuition. We can't influence other people. I don't think you can be doing it to influence elections and that kind of thing. But you can do it when it comes, for example, to matters of health. And, for example, this information on what's in the school lunches. What would be wrong with visualizing the FDA taking a closer look at that?
That would be nice.
What we really want, what I really want is truth. And there should not be any block to information because how else are we going to know truth?
That's correct.
But the other thing I do every morning, and I definitely take the time for, is I had written months ago an I am statement. And that seems to be very effective as well. I read that every morning. So over the holidays, if anybody gets extra time, you might want to read up, I think, the book. There's a little book called The Moses Code. There was a larger edition in 2008, and then I think it was in 2021, he wrote a little adjunct because he said we had better start doing this in order to, save our planet. He didn't cut any corners. So anyway, it's 10:30. Welcome everybody. I'm glad to see you. Want you to see we are still going. And I want to show you also if I can find it in here. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. I wanted to show you what we're doing on vision and eyes. Well, that's the same one. We'll get to it. We asked for a bunch of Pro Tools on our eyes. And so that's running as well. And of course, what'll happen as we go, let's just see, we've been asking for a lot of energy in reference to circulation. And that's when you can always look. So we'll take a B2 on that. I'll remind myself of that. And so on and so forth. And it also seems to be effective. Go ahead and check life force when an organ or organ system comes up. So see, look at that. That's a little stressed. Let me try to find our. Oh, doggone it. I'm going to make myself some notes. I should have. Well, let's just put it here. It's going to be the next blog headline, the best way to predict the future, create it. So that's maybe what we can work towards. Wait a minute. Anyway, I make myself a few notes, but you get the idea. And this, we're pretty much balancing that out, but it gives you some ideas. And Now we're asking for this still, and I've still got that running in the Prayer Warrior. No, excuse me, the B2 is still running in the B2, plus I have it in the Prayer Warrior. And it's looking, from what I've learned over the years, it's looking to me like curse may be what we have collected through our ancestral, more so than someone trying to put negative energy on us. Although we can also curse ourselves with our words, etc. And anyway, just go on down. Now this is an interesting thing, and with that, I'll do this quickly, and then I'll show you what we're working on for our January startup. But for example, the gallbladder meridian is where they say implants go. And so we've just got a little bit of information here. It's all very subtle. And remember, our energy is always flowing. So if we ran this scan again, it might not even be necessary. This is tooth 6. We'll take a closer look at that. When the time is right, taking decisive action. Negativity persisting beyond all practical use, scapegoating. We're asking for healthy persistence. Relationship shutdown. We'd like to clear that stress. We are needing more spontaneity and self-assertion. Lack of rhythmic efforts. There are cycles it would be interesting to follow, and resentment. So we'll just add those in. And let's see if we want the tooth 6 cocktail. No, what's in the P4 is sufficient. Anyway, you have the idea. Let me just quickly. Always immunity you want to stay on top of. We're good with the P4. pH. Lots of gallbladder stress too. I'll take a deeper look at that later. Let's just go down and see. Look at that. We're still, of course, that's from the other day. We're still right there. We'll continue with that. And then words to ponder. One unable to dance blames the unevenness of the floor. So again, can we get to the true root source cause of perhaps what, and you see this is something too, still there. We're working on it. I want to tell you that there is, and I sent out, I think yesterday, the information on that biogeometry course. And if you go to biogeometry.com, they have a pendant. It's very inexpensive. It's just $40, and it's an L90, and it's supposed to clear any kind of negative energy. So let me just, for example, I went ahead and made an image.
I have that necklace. It's great.
Tell us what's happened with that.
Well, my problem is EMF sensitivity, so it helps me with that, and it comes with a little charger plate.
I have it, but thank you. I'll put the access to all this on the notes and see what y'all think. Test yourself for priority. But I want to show you some things in reference. Now it's time to work on the January startup scan. And what we've got so far, this is a work in progress, but I have something to show you here, and I have to tell you a story that goes with that. Our focus is supposedly, this is what we resonated with, is upping our voltage. So I have a book somewhere. I've got all my books on the bookshelf now. I'm trying to get organized. And I have a book by Dr. Jerry Tennant, Healing is Voltage. So that's what I was going to go into for a lot of this information to get right started right away. Are any of you familiar with Dr. Jerry Tennant?
Oh, yes, I know him very well.
Yeah, isn't he wonderful?
Yep, great guy.
And so I'm looking for the book. Meanwhile, two people have been telling me about another book. Dr. Kersey is one, and then Karen Barnett, who's with us today, is the other. And I had not ordered it because, frankly, I have a ton of books, and I feel like I need to deal with that before I get more books. So I'm going through looking for Healing with Voltage, and I'll be doggone if I didn't already have that Energy Strands book. So this book, it's by Denise Lin, and what she talks about, I think she started out as feng shui, but what she talks about is the fact, of course, first of all, everything is connected. We're not just connected to each other, we're connected to all aspects of nature, we're connected to places we've lived, people we've known, etc., etc., and this is scanning all the time. It's scanning all the time, and these cords can be beneficial, or they can be very draining and negative. And so I'm working, I tested, was that a priority? Along with focusing on voltage, was it a priority to put strands scan in our startup? And it was very high priority, so there may be something to this. It's not anything I've ever dealt with, but it certainly seems possible. And we're going to scan ourselves just with the little bit of information I have so far. But I had a 100% benefit of clearing a cord to my original hometown with the B2. And what's funny, in a not funny way, is that town did have a lot of misery for a lot of people, and I apparently still was connected to it in some way. So I'd like to clear that. I had 100% benefit of doing that. And also, I had a cord to that house I sold last year on 4th Street. So now this is all energetic. It probably would change with each scan, but we're going to do a little bit more work with this. Let me show you so far. This is just beginning. These are things that are all high priority for next month. All pursuits are harmonized with love. Chemtrails and non-beneficial weather manipulations now come to a halt in a perfect and correct way. Higher harmonic gold, that's a powerful energy when we call for it. We also want the implant scan. We haven't done a lot with that, but we're going to go deeper with that in January. These are all things that definitely would impact voltage. Maintain peace. Now, I don't know who's familiar with this murmuration term. I wasn't till I read about it. But you know how birds will fly in certain formations, and they just watch the bird at the beginning. They adjust their wing when that bird adjusts its wing, and they have no idea of their destination. Well, that's something we also can be vulnerable to, and we're particularly vulnerable to it when we're watching it through images on the media, whether it be mainstream or alternative. So this was a high priority. Online murmurations are now ineffective as the masses see the negative intent creating it, all in a perfect and correct way. And I want to just add, I was looking at something last night about the movie industry, and I saw a couple of numbers that were pretty surprising. Movies rated G, I think last year made like 92 billion, I don't know what it was. Movies rated R only made 18, and yet they continue to primarily promote the R. I'd like to know more truth about that myself, but so far we're just looking at this. optimal cellular voltage. This protection from danger was up there, so it's in there. And this was up there. And I've got this running now in the mastery. Survive any and all catastrophic financial collapse and prosper as significant amounts of money are now distributed to every individual. And we actually had a high resonance, so that's running in the mastery. And I don't like to show that because it has other names too, but one of the biggest stressors for our first scan, and this will alter each day, is the girdle meridian, which of course ties back in to our food. And then this is I think, let me just see if that's the last one. Yeah, time each day for stillness. Again, we've gotten so caught up with our whatever we're doing that we're maybe not having enough time just to ponder and maybe get some information from the matrix. So far, here's what I've got. Now, I'm going to send this out as it is, but for the group, let me see if we're safe with this. I guess we're safe to do all of it because it's pretty, but it's going to be far more effective for an individual, in my opinion, than for a group. Let's just see if we have anything we want. As a group, what we say about these energy cords. And this book is turning out to be real good. Energy Strands by Denise Lynn. So I'll put that in there. Okay, so this is a very interesting one we're asking for. This is the ancestor syndrome. And what they have found, and they have found this scientifically, by the way, not so much with cords, but genetically. For example, people whose ancestors went through the Holocaust still had the trauma. And they still had the fears. For example, if they went anywhere and anyone asked for their papers, they would freak out because that's something that happened in Germany. So that we are asking for a cord to begin to clear that. And then we're asking for non-beneficial cords to aborted son or daughter. That's rather significant. And then non-beneficial cords to son. So let's just go ahead. We can put this one, ancestor syndrome. We can scan that in. I don't know if that's going to stay with it or here the way I did that. Let's see. Yeah, all right. And she'll give a lot of examples of how, and they were able to discover through science that the genetic structure of the ancestors of people who'd been through the Holocaust was altered, even though they probably didn't know the family member at all that had experienced it. Now, we'll just put that in there for now. And just for the heck of it, even though it's not ready, let's just go ahead and, where's my... Just see if there's anything else we want here at this moment in time. Okay, maintain peace and protection from danger. So let's do it. Oops. Well, get in there. There is a new post, finally. I'm trying to get caught up and get back to some more regular posting on the art of spiritual hygiene, and it's about the ego. If you get a chance to look, someone asked me the other day, how did I know, for example, I scan myself every morning, if I had gotten some negative energy, and that's how I included my list on that post. But what happens here is the ego has a lot of trouble in many cases believing what we're talking about. Like, for example, with the cords, energy cords. We've not been ever taught that. It sounds crazy. And the ego is our computer operator. It would be very associated with the left brain, and it sees a very narrow band of our reality, and yet whatever it's programmed with could be genetic, and it also primarily is environmental. It will hold on to, and that often involves not even examining other concepts. You're seeing it a lot, and the way, it's always been that way probably, but the way you give yourself a little clue is if you're presented with information and you get angry. That's your clue, in my opinion, from what I've learned, that this is a program running, and it might be time to do a little bit more investigating in an opposite area from what you believe. So, okay, so we maintain peace comes up. There's a little stress with that. Let's see if we want to do anything further. Okay, so we'll take a charge. Kevin, give me your opinion on this. I've been testing for minutes. If we do 5 minutes, does that still take care of it? We just take the number of minutes we want, or is it good to kind of test?
Well, you can test because it could have a variable, but often 5 minutes would equal 10 weeks.
I know it. Now, this charger is far more powerful than a lot of us are aware. And then we have the protection from danger. I don't know why that came up, but it definitely came up, so.
Cathy, when you refer to B2, I guess I lost what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, let me show you. Let me pull it up. This is Deborah kind of alerted me to this. This is something we have that is, I tend to, if it's a way to make it hard, I'm going to find it. So this was just, I thought, just a quickie for those that didn't have much time. But what I learned, you can put a specific issue in and focus just on that with the B2 along with the other work you're doing. Now, some of you may have this with your program, but for example, this is where we have already running curse correction. You can put in whatever, and I like to test for priority, which maybe is not necessary. But if you go in here, for example, and a couple of these I already tested, but let's just see if we, again, there's a great cocktail called complete extermination, and we see that negative energy is still, we're still on the original scan. Let's just see. Yeah, we'll take it. So let's do it. So what happens? And so I just go back and forth during the day with this. And this is a complete extermination of anything negative energy-wise that's coming your way. And we're taking 12 hours and 18 minutes. And then during the sessions, you can always add to it. we'll see where we are with the Pro Tools. And then in the Zoom notes, I've got for the eyes, we particularly wanted to have the dispenser, and we had a lot of requests with that, which I'll send in our Zoom notes. And take that off right now. And again, I'll be going back through this during the day. Okay, so we're good. And that's it. Any thoughts? Everybody have a wonderful New Year's Eve.
Yes, thank you.
Kathy, you too.
Thanks.
Have a
And
great
I'll
day.
see you New Year's Day.
Happy New Year's to everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks, Kathy.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
This concludes the SRC4u software demonstration call with Cathy. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.